What is Cafe Mocha? Experts, celebrities.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
I am Ian Levanson.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamar Braxton.
Music and features from a woman's perspective. Intriguing conversation. The Swag Award. Espresso. The MC Light Mix. Radio from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha. I'm MC Light.
I'm Lonnie Love.
I'm Angelique. May is Mental Health Month, and we want to end the month by talking about an ugly epidemic.
Black men and depression.
It's coming up on Cafe Mocha.
Thank you. This is Cafe Mocha. I'm Lonnie Love with Angelique and MC Light.
This weekend, we're talking about a topic that nobody wants to deal with until it's too late. Black men and depression.
Joining us, he's producer of the documentary Face of Darkness. KT Nelson is on the line. KT, why do you think black men are so scared to get help for depression or to even acknowledge they have a problem?
Well, I think that I can know from personal experience. I've suffered from it myself, and I think it was the stigma that was associated with it. I didn't want to tell people because I didn't want people to think I was crazy, that I was weak. And I think that, growing up, I was taught, to be tough, don't cry like a little girl. And so I think those are the things that I carried with me. So I think a lot of brothers, like myself, they carry that weight of the shame that's associated with it.
How do you think we get past that? Because, so many need help. How do we get past that stigma?
I think that we need to start letting our little boys know that, I think it starts, at a young age, letting our little boys know that it's okay to cry. It's okay to communicate your thoughts, because when you don't do that, it bottles up and it shows up different ways. But I think that we need to let our boys know that it's okay to communicate your thoughts and your feelings. And I think it has to start at home, especially with women and also fathers.
All right.
And even pastors.
You can find KT Nelson at faceofdarknessdocumentary.com. Tell us about the documentary.
Well, we're still filming it right now, so we're adding some more to it, which I'm very excited about. It's a documentary. We're following some men around that are actually dealing with anxiety and depression. So it's going to show different people dealing with what's going on in their life. We'll show people going to the doctor. You'll see people doing holistic measures. There are different types of treatment, because we wanted to display there's just not one option of treatment. So we wanted to show a variety of different guys getting different types of treatment, because everyone is not the same. And so we wanted to be able to show that if you're feeling a certain kind of way, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have a pastor or a therapist, do the research. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because you're not alone. A lot of people feel like they're alone, but technically you're not. There are a lot of people that are hurting. They just don't want to tell anybody.
Right.
Thank you so much. The documentary is called Face of Darkness Documentary.com, and you can find KT Nelson at Actor NYC on Twitter. Boy, I don't know how you got that. Actor NYC.
Okay.
Exactly.
He's with you. So
thanks, KT.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you so much.
You got it. God bless. Cafe Mocha on your radio. You've probably seen the commercial saying that 1 in 4 of us will be affected by mental illness, and that most men will never ever seek help.
I saw that commercial. Wayne Brady was in it, and the sexy dude.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall, the football dude. They're all part of the Bring Change to Mind campaign, urging men to start the conversation. Part of that campaign is Donnie Goins, who is an aspiring recording artist, working this close to 50 Cent, and the next thing you know, his life was kind of derailed by mental health issues.
And depression. Tell us what
happened, Donnie.
That's my line.
Well, first and foremost, I think that it really was a situation that I decided until recently to speak about. But I dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression, and it kind of hit a head, and I really had to sort of make a choice, and it was either to focus on my career or focus on recovery and moving forward. So I chose the latter.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line, we have Donnie Goins, bringchangetomind.org.
Now, looking back, at what point did you realize that you had a problem?
Well, I just want to say, first and foremost, mental illness is an issue that many, not just black men, but many men in general do not acknowledge.
Right.
And me coming from an urban community, I grew up in the Bronx and Harlem, it was something that a lot of people didn't really discuss or talk about. And as the years went on, I've done a lot of different things. I've been in the military, I've been in college, I've done music, so on and so forth. I noticed that I had to deal with a lot of people, situations, and I just started to notice things were hitting me a little bit hard, in the past couple of years, and I really was at a lost point. I didn't know who to turn to speak to, so upon suggestion of a friend, I decided to speak to a psychiatrist, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
We're talking to Donnie Goins. He's a part of the commercial campaign BringChangeToMind.org. It has Wayne Brady in it, and you can find him at Donnie Goins on Twitter. What for you was more valuable, seeing the psychiatrist or having the medicine, or is it both?
Well, I can only speak to my own personal experience. So just to backtrack a bit, I definitely, as an artist, I've been out there and a lot of people know who I am. And they look at me and they kind of just see I'm smiling and I'm performing and I'm having a good time, so on and so forth. But inside, I was dealing with a lot of situations that was very hard for not just myself, but any person. I think I spoke to the psychiatrist and I tried to figure out the best plan for me. And that was a combination at first of medication and of therapy, of talking. And to be quite honest, I think it depends on the situation, but ultimately for me, at the moment, that was the best course of action.
Donnie Goins, one of the many men involved in the Bring Change to Mind campaign. Learn more at bringchangetomind.org. Cafe Mocha, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You've probably seen the commercial with Wayne Brady talking about his depression. Bring Change to Mind is the group responsible for that ad. And when I reached out to them, they sent me over a young aspiring artist working on his mixtape, about to blow up. Next thing you know, he was sidelined with depression. On the line is Donnie Goins. Tell us what happened.
Well, I decided to share my story back in September of last year, and I wrote my story on Huffington Post, and I just was very brutally honest about the situation because a lot of people had a lot of questions, and they was wondering where I had went and what was going on. And in that, story, I told them that at first it felt like something I had to hide. It felt like something that I wasn't comfortable sharing with people, and I really didn't know, who I could trust with the information.
Right.
And I kept a lot of that stuff inside. And what ended up happening with me was it ended up sort of overflowing, and it became a problem that just really started to spill out in many different areas of my life. And I think that, people, men especially, if we don't decide to talk and we don't decide to seek help, we tend to do things that will act out upon those situations, such as violence, such as children and not being there for them, and alcohol abuse, drug abuse, etc. And I really believe that it's important that at the very least you speak up and you talk to different people, whether it be a friend, whether it be a wife, or a girlfriend, a priest, anyone, and really try to get that out there in Front Street so you can sort of take it from there and try to find the best course of action for yourself.
Now that you've sort of made it to this other side of being knowledgeable about how it is that you help yourself, do you look out and see men who you feel as though, wow, this guy may need a little bit of help?
The funny thing about that is I feel like a lot of people in urban communities especially are really suffering from mental illness, undiagnosed and under, looked at, or whatever the case may be. And I didn't really pick up on it at first, but I think it's like one of them situations whereas when you become aware, then you start to see things, and they start to pop up. So it's like I look at a lot of different people from my neighborhood and my community, and I know that they're suffering. And when I do see that, I try my best to speak to them and try to at the very least get them to talk about whatever problems they may be going through.
Donnie Goins, you can find him on Twitter at Donnie Goins, GOINNES. And of course, the organization is bringchangetomind.org. Thank you so much, Donnie. Keep in touch with us, okay?
Will do. God bless.
Take care. Same here.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. This hour on Cafe Mocha, we're going to ask Dr. Renee, when is it time to get help? What are the symptoms? And how can friends and family show support?
It's Mental Health Month, and we're talking about black men and depression. And here to break it down for us, you've seen her on Oprah, Roland Martin, and WGN. It's Dr. Renee
of Ask Dr. Renee. You know, Dr. Renee, my white friends sit around bragging about therapy and the drugs they on. Why do you think blacks and Latinos have such a hang-up about mental health?
I really don't know. I can't figure it out, but it's gone through years and years and years. It's Caribbean black Americans. It's just black people, period. For some reason, there's a stigma. You know, you don't want anyone to know that you might be feeling sad or down, and it's a horrible thing that it's so hush-hush because we are not getting treatment, and we need to get treatment.
Well, I also want to say, and maybe it's a suggestion, Dr. Renee, that we ain't got no money. And all that stuff costs money.
That's true.
You know, so it's like, that's why, you know, we need to make sure that if you are feeling some type of way, that you go and get the free health care that is being provided to you so that you can, you know, help yourself.
Get some help.
Get that Obamacare.
Definitely. More than 20% of African Americans are underinsured compared to less than 12% for white Americans.
Right.
So that is one of the huge problems. But you're right, there's so much free help out there. You know, if you're a child in school, the children can go to the counselors at school. If it's an adult, there's hotlines out there. There's free clinics. There's all sorts of help.
Church is always the pastors and stuff. They have some therapy
they have
stuff
counseling
in there.
and stuff. Yeah.
But we're talking to Dr. Renee of Ask Dr. Renee. What are the first signs that you may need help with your mental issues? I mean, outside of somebody saying, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, if you're sad, and I'm not talking about you're just sad for a day, but you're sad for weeks at a time, irritable mood, people notice that something's wrong for weeks at a time. Definitely if you have a change in sleep, like if you all of a sudden have insomnia and you're not used to having insomnia, you usually sleep no problem. If your appetite has changed, energy, concentration, if you can't complete a simple task that you could complete last week at work and it's taking you 2 weeks to do it now, maybe there's something underlying. And, you know, not necessarily does some life-altering thing have to have happened for you to be depressed. It could be an imbalance in chemicals in your brain.
But now everything you described there is like PMS for me. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to do nothing. That's
but
like
it's temporary.
PMS.
Yeah.
It's going to turn around and come back. It's going to end.
Yeah.
Right.
So when there's an end in sight, you know, if you know that this is your monthly, this is what happens, then you know there's an end in sight.
Right.
But if you're somebody who's been feeling worthless and hopeless, you've had suicidal thoughts for an extended period of time, you need to tell somebody and talk to someone.
We're talking about getting mentally healthy with Dr. Renee. More coming up.
What's being talked about on the street, online, and sister to sister? It's Did Y'all See? On Cafe Mocha.
So did y'all see, there's a high school teen, her name is Tramika Polk, and she's from Chicago. She had a baby her 8th grade year in middle school, but she was able to finish high school. She graduated with honor, she's valedictorian, and a lot of people were praising her because this is a big deal. But there were also people who were criticizing her, saying that we should celebrate the girls who didn't have babies. So what do you think about all the negativity being tied to such a positive story?
We should just commend her for her accomplishments. I mean, to be accepted to 26 universities, I don't even have that to say.
You know what, too? I just realized after this that people are just miserable as all hell.
They are.
And no matter what you do, they're going to have something to complain about. Because there's nothing bad you can say about this young woman. Well, that's our perspective. For more Did Y'all See, be sure to log on to MadameNoir.com.
That was Did Y'all See with the ladies of Madame Noir on Cafe Mocha. For more, check out CafeMochaRadio.com.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Cafe Mocha is taking a serious look at depression and other mental issues that are derailing our lives. On the line is Dr. Renee of Ask Dr. Renee. Where can people go to really feel safe with their information? Because that's the other thing. The second somebody says, "Oh, I'm bipolar," everybody in the neighborhood knows.
Well, there is a hotline I was able to find online, 1-800-273-TALK. TALK 8255. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. this is an anonymous call, but then they can also help you to get further help if that's what's necessary.
Gotcha.
But, I believe your pastor cannot divulge any of your information.
Right.
So if you talk to the pastor, and I just hope that the pastor, prays with you, but also helps you to seek professional help. And then your school counselors, if it is a teen, if it's your child, the school counselor can't tell the rest of the, can't tell the principal and the other teachers.
Right.
They have to keep that confidential. And of course, if you do seek professional help, it's doctor-patient confidentiality.
And it's important for us as people to also pay attention to each other.
What most people don't realize is that the third leading cause of death for black males, 15 to 24, is suicide.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
this is real, and I'm sure it's been in the news, and actually I wrote about it recently. The young lady from Miss Jessie's, the natural hair products, she committed suicide, 45 years old.
Right.
And, it's just recently coming out that apparently she was in a bad relationship. And it's too bad that, her and her sister were business partners, and clearly they are close of relations. And you didn't talk to your sister, so talk to somebody.
Yes.
Tell somebody.
Yes. We're talking to Dr. Renee. Now, speaking of that scenario, how does the person, the family member, the boyfriend or girlfriend on the other side of a suicide go on with, because they feel guilty. You have to.
I myself have a sister, so I know I would feel horrible. But, unfortunately, grief is grief, so you have to go through the same stages as everyone else with grief, and you just have to realize that there was nothing else you could do.
That's right.
And, unfortunately, they didn't come to you and share it with you so that you could have helped to get them help. And if they did and you tried, just know that you did the best you could.
All right. Ask Dr. Renee. You can find her at askdrrenee.info and online. On Twitter on Ask Dr. Renee. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. This is such an important topic and definitely needs to be talked about.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
I love looking at you.
Angelique with the Espresso. Chocolate City, the stripper movie, only opened in 15 theaters last weekend. Here's Vivica on her role in the movie.
I really wanted to show people my acting chops again. And so for this role, the clothes were frumpy, the makeup and everything, so that I could dive into it. Also, my son, I wanted to make sure that I look like his mom. And it's not Vivica Fox, the star, it's Vivica Fox, the actress.
Opening everywhere this weekend is The Rock in San Andreas.
It is a thrilling, heart-pounding ride that is entertaining and that is relentless, and there's action, there's love, there's romance, there's doom, there's cowards, there's heroes.
And a big shout out to Monique. If you haven't seen Bessie, she does a great job.
Queen Latifah plays Bessie Smith, and when I tell y'all, she is absolutely breathtaking. I play Ma Rainey. When y'all see our girl, baby, we're going to give her a standing ovation, because when they say action, she is Bessie Smith.
Bessie's on HBO right now. You got to see it. That's the Espresso. I'm Angelique.
This is Cafe Mocha, radio from a woman's perspective.
Cafe Mocha, light mix.
Hey. That was the MC Light Mix. Light. You did your thing.
Thank you.
And you got a new album out.
New album, that's right. It's called Legend, and people can find out more information at mclight.com.
I love the teasers. I can't wait till you give me a free album, because I like what I saw.
That's what you're waiting for?
I'm waiting for the free. I guess you may not get one.
I better make it happen then. Okay.
It was a great show, ladies. Please, if you have issues, if you feeling, down, if you get help.
Insomnia, all of those things that Dr. Renee spoke about.
Yes.
Reach out and get some help that's needed. It's Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Westwood One. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. Writer and producer Angelique Perrin. For comments, booking, and more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.